There's a lot of libertarians that are getting confused between an alleged libertarian outcome and libertarianism. And there's a difference. Like, there are things, pretend I'm an atheist, which I'm not, I'm a Christian, but just pretend I'm an atheist. There are things I could do that some people would consider a Christian outcome, because I don't think only Christians could be good people. So I could just be the type of atheist that goes out every weekend and feeds the homeless and just does all kinds of great charitable works, which people would think is a Christian outcome if they were looking at it from a Christian point of view. But my motivations would be different. It wouldn't be to like glorify Jesus. I wouldn't have believed in Jesus. And it doesn't mean you have to dislike the outcomes, but you have to understand it's not coming from a Christian foundation. So other things I do will not be consistent with a Christian worldview. And it's the same thing with some things that are happening in the Trump administration. It's not all bad. It's certainly not all good. And there are some outcomes which are very consistent with what a libertarian would do. But you have to understand it's not because of a libertarian impulse. The reason that they're getting done is not from a libertarian grounding principle. Therefore, you can't rely upon it. And it can turn on a dime. So, for instance, you have someone who pardoned Ross Ulbricht, but in the same person, they're declared Mexican quote-unquote drug cartels, which are only caused by the drug war. Well, not only, but primarily caused by the drug war, to be put on a terrorist watch list without realizing things like that can easily put people who are of a more anti-government bent on a terrorist watch list. Be careful what you wish for. So it's not coming from a libertarian place. It was coming from political expediency or the fact, he served enough time, even though that generally would be a commutation. But while we can cheer and be grateful for the pardon of Ross Ulbricht, still admit it didn't come from a libertarian place. So it might have been a libertarian outcome, but it wasn't a libertarian policy. And I gave the example of Twitter, where this was a while ago after gay marriage was legalized, and it was somewhere in the South, and I'm not trying to rag on the South, but maybe it was Tennessee or Alabama, I think, where there were some Republican legislators who wanted to abolish government licensing of marriage. Definitely a libertarian outcome. Should we support that? Yes, of course. But do we claim that those government electeds are libertarians? No, because their motivation was, if marriage can't be restricted just to what we think is a biblical form of marriage or whatever our conservative worldview is, we want to take it away from everybody. So that impulse was not a libertarian impulse, but that doesn't mean we can't support the outcome. But don't confuse it with those people being libertarians.